This is part 2 of my video guide on BARRONS 333 high frequency words for the GRE. Great for anyone studying the GRE or anyone just looking to improve their English language. So let's get straight to it. We're going to do 111 words today, starting with effrontery. Effrontery. Impudence, shameless boldness, sheer nerve, presumptuousness. He had the effrontery to challenge my decision. He had the impudence, the rudeness, the sheer nerve to challenge my decision. Elegy. A poem or a song expressing lamentation, sadness. The child wrote an elegy to her lost pet. Elicit. Drawn out by discussion. She tried to elicit more details about her new job. She was trying to tease out some more details. Elicit. Embellish. Adorn, ornament, enhance as a story. She embellished the story to make herself look more impressive. It was a bit of an exaggeration though. Don't embellish your resume because that counts as lying. Embellish. Empirical. Based on experience, or I would say experiment. There is empirical evidence to show that cigarettes cause cancer, based on experience and evidence. Empirical. Emulate. Imitate, rival. She tried to emulate her rival's success, but to no avail. Copy, imitate, try to challenge or rival. Emulate. Endemic. Prevailing among a specific group of people or an area. Kangaroos are endemic to Australia, I presume, aside from zoos, I guess, meaning appearing only in that one place. Endemic. Enervate. Weaken. The lack of sleep truly enervated her as the week progressed. Weakened. Enervated. Engender. Cause, produce. Her words engendered much concern among the staff. Caused, produced. Engendered. Enhance. Increase or improve. You can enhance your resume by doing some volunteering work. Improve it. Enhance. Ephemeral. Short-lived, fleeting. His success was truly ephemeral. It barely lasted the day. Ephemeral. Equanimity. Calmness of temperament, composure. I can't believe the equanimity she displayed when getting verbally assaulted by that drunk man. She was so calm, so composed. Such equanimity. Equivocate. Lie, mislead, attempt to conceal the truth. He was asked a direct question, but he kept equivocating, misleading. Why can't he just say the truth? Why does he have to equivocate? Erudite. Learned, scholarly. Philip tries to present himself as an erudite individual. Learned, scholarly, well-read. Esoteric. Hard to understand, known only to the chosen few. The Guide to Advanced Physics was arguably quite esoteric, hard to understand, and only a few would truly get what it means. Esoteric. Eulogy. An expression of praise, often on the occasion of someone's death. The vicar read out the eulogy to the man who had passed away, praising someone who has just died. Eulogy. Euphemism. A mild expression in place of an unpleasant one, where you might say something like, he knocked him off, which is a mild expression but actually means he killed him. Euphemism. Exacerbate. Worsen, embitter. Her actions exacerbated the problem, made it worse. Exacerbate. Exculpate. Clear from blame. The lawyer managed to exculpate his client, clear them from blame. Her alibi exculpated her from the guilty verdict, cleared her from it. Exigency. Urgent situation, pressing needs or demands, the state of requiring immediate attention. The circumstances were truly exigent. Something had to be done now. Exigent or exigency. Extrapolation. Projection, superfluous. We looked at the data for this year and extrapolated them for next year. It was a projection, a prediction. Extrapolation or extrapolate. Facetious. Joking, often inappropriately, humorous. Oh, don't mind me, I'm just being facetious. I'm just joking around. Facetious. Facilitate. To help bring about, make less difficult. She facilitated his transfer from one unit to the other. She was really helpful. She facilitated the transfer, made it less difficult. Facilitate. Fallacious. False or misleading, based on a fallacy. Your report was fallacious, based on a lie, completely misleading. Fallacious. Fatuous. Brainless, inane, foolish, yet smug. The fatuous grin was truly repulsive to her. The guy didn't even have a brain. So fatuous. Fawning. Trying to please by behaving obsequiously, flattering or cringing. He had such fawning behaviour toward her, always trying to praise her, get in her good books. So fawning. Felicitous. Apt, suitably expressed, well chosen. Those are felicitous words, really well chosen, appropriate. Another definition is bringing joy or good fortune. The felicitous encounter, a happy coincidence. Felicitous. Fervour. Glowing ardour, intensity of feeling. He had such fervour for his cause. He would never give up. The fervour in her heart was matched by the intense expression on her face. The intensity of feeling, the fervour. Flag. To droop, grow feeble. Of course, you know about a flag, like the British flag or American flag, but it also means to grow tired, to droop down, weaken. Her efforts were flagging after 3 hours of hard work. Fledgling. Inexperienced. The fledgling golfer couldn't even hit the ball right. So inexperienced, so new at what they're doing, often young. Fledgling. Flout. Reject, mock, show contempt for. Most commonly, he flouted the rules. She flouted her directions. Break the rules, basically. Flout. Foment. To stir up, instigate. He fomented rebellion on the backbenches. Stirred it up, brought it about, provoked it. Foment. Forestall. To prevent by taking action in advance. His actions forestalled her mistake, made sure it didn't happen by doing something in advance. Fore means before, forestall. Stop is like stall. Stopping it before, forestall. Frugality. Thrift, economy. By using all those vouchers at the supermarket, he demonstrated amazing frugality, thrift, economy, saving money. Frugal, frugality. Futile. Useless, hopeless, ineffectual. Resistance is futile. It's pointless. Don't bother. Gainsay. To deny or contradict. How dare you gainsay me in public? Gainsay. Garrulous. Loquacious, wordy, talkative. He was such a garrulous individual, could never stop him talking. Very chatty, loquacious. Garrulous. Goad. Urge on. The crowd goaded him to act. He didn't really want to, but they were urging him so much. They were goading him. Goad. Gouge. To overcharge. Of course, you can say the word in a physical way, like trying to gouge someone's eyes, but in a financial sense, it's to overcharge someone, usually by an extortionate amount, like a horrific overcharging of money. The prices at the pump were just truly gouging his budget, or the pharmacy was gouging him by the price of the drugs sold there. Grandiloquent. Pompous, bombastic, using high-sounding language. A bit like the word itself, if you're being grandiloquent, you're using high-sounding, fancy language, usually because you think a lot of yourself. A bit too fancy. Grandiloquent. Gregarious. Sociable. A bit like garrulous, chatty, but in a more friendly sense. Just someone you get on with. You know, Greg, that nice guy. He's gregarious, sociable, friendly, amenable, chatty. Guileless. Without deceit. Guile is like lying, so guileless, you're honest, you're without deceit. Gullible. Easily deceived. She's so gullible, believes anything. Harangue. A long, passionate and vehement speech. A rant. A jeremiad. A real harangue. He harangued her after work, laying into her for how she mocked him at the conference. A harangue, a long, passionate, angry speech. Homogeneous. Of the same kind. The workers in this building are kind of homogeneous. They're all the same age, ethnicity. Homogeneous. Hyperbole, or hyperbole, depending on how you pronounce it. Hyperbole means exaggeration, overstatement. We just need to drop the hyperbole. Why is everyone speaking in such an exaggerated way? Can't we just calm down? Let's stop overstating things. Let's calm down and just tell the truth. Stop using hyperbole. Stop being hyperbolic. Iconoclast. Attacking cherished traditions. He broke all the rules and traditions. In that way, you could call him an iconoclast. Idolatry. The worship of idols, excessive admiration. His fawning behaviour became almost idolatry towards his boss. It was awful. Idolatry. Immutable. Unchangeable. His beliefs were immutable. They never changed. In that sense, he was an ideologue. Dogmatic. Immutable. Impair. To injure or hurt. The setback impaired his attempts to gain promotion. It really hurt his chances. Impair. Or impaired vision, for example, if you're going blind. Impassive. Without feeling, imperturbable, stoical. His impassive expression gave away nothing. It didn't have any feeling in it. You couldn't tell what he was thinking. Or she stood there impassively as the guy was getting beaten up. Had no reaction. Wasn't perturbed at all. Impassive. Impede. To hinder, block. A bit like impair. Your progress is impaired. Your progress is impeded, blocked. A bit more firm. To impede. Impermeable. Impervious, not permitting a passage through its substance. Basically, water can't get through it. For example, impermeable rock means water can't go through it, whereas permeable rock, water can go through it. Impermeable. Imperturbable, we've seen that. To be perturbed is to be disturbed. So if you're imperturbable, you're calm, incapable of being disturbed. Stoical, placid, like a lake. Impervious. All these words kind of mean the same thing, right? Impenetrable, incapable of being damaged or distressed. I'm impervious to damage. You can't touch me. Or the presidential car was impervious to bullets, incapable of being damaged by them. Implacable, incapable of being pacified. The army's advance was implacable. It couldn't be stopped, couldn't be pacified. Implacable. Implicit. Understood but not stated. There was implicit agreement between them that she would advance before him, but they never said it out loud. They just understood it tacitly, implicitly. It was understood but never said out loud. Implicit. Implode, one of my favourite words. To burst inward. So to explode is to burst outward, but to implode is to be crushed inward. Think of those cans or a bottle where you suck out all the air and it kind of crushes inwards. That's an implosion. It's imploded. Awesome word. Inadvertently. Unintentionally, by oversight, carelessly. It was an inadvertent action, I didn't mean it. Or he knocked over the vase inadvertently, unintentionally, carelessly. Inchoate. Recently begun, rudimentary, elementary. He had an inchoate plan to take over the world, but he hadn't really thought it through. It was recently begun, rudimentary, basic, elementary. Inchoate. Incongruity. A lack of harmony and absurdity. Having that postmodern painting right next to the classical master painting was truly an incongruity. There was just a lack of harmony in colours, design, everything. It was a bit absurd. Incongruity. Inconsequential. Insignificant, unimportant. If you don't work harder, your career is going to be inconsequential. Without any consequences, unimportant. Inconsequential. Incorporate. Introduce something into a larger whole. Combine, unite. A corporation means a gathering together of different elements. So to incorporate means to bring into a larger whole, to combine, incorporate. Also, it means in a business sense, if a company incorporates, they become a corporation. Indeterminate. Uncertain, not clearly fixed, indefinite. He was given an indeterminate sentence. It was never clear when it would end. Or the results were indeterminate. We can't tell what the actual situation is. It's uncertain, not determined, indeterminate. Indigence, poverty. She had managed to fall into horrific indigence after losing her job. Indigence, poverty. Indolent, lazy. Some people accuse me of indolence, laziness, but really I'm not that lazy. Indolent, lazy. Inert. Inactive, lacking the power to move, demonstrating inertia, not really doing anything, just sitting there. The only time they'll move is if you push them. They are just inert, like an inert gas in the chemical table, totally inactive, doesn't react to anything. Inert. Ingenuous. Naive and trusting, young, unsophisticated. If you're disingenuous, you're deceitful. But if you're ingenuous, you're trusting, straightforward, young, naive. Ingenuous. Inherent. Firmly established by nature or habit. I have an inherent love for animals. No one taught me it. It was just established in my nature. Intrinsic, inherent. Innocuous. Harmless. Her words were inadvertent, innocuous. Nothing was meant by them, they were innocent. She wasn't being disingenuous, she was being innocuous, harmless. Insensible. Unconscious, unresponsive. Not the opposite of sensible, not like reckless, rude, because sensible means calm and appropriate. No, insensible means you've lost your senses, as in you're unconscious, unresponsive. Like someone who's been knocked out in a car crash. Insensible. Insinuate. To hint, to imply, to creep in. Are you insinuating that I'm a liar? How dare you? Don't insinuate that he betrayed me. It's not true. To insinuate, to hint, to imply in a dark way. Insipid. Lacking in flavour, dull. She threw away the insipid drink the moment she'd had one sip. It was just so dull and lacking in flavour. I personally find coconut water insipid. I just really don't like it. It's lacking in flavour for me. Insipid. Insularity. Narrow-mindedness. Isolation. The small village had a great degree of insularity. They didn't mix with outsiders. They were isolated and narrow-minded. Or don't be so insular. Get out into the world. Experience other people, other beliefs. Insularity. Intractable. Unruly, stubborn, unyielding. The dog was intractable even after months of training. It was unruly and stubborn. It wouldn't react to orders. Someone who is tractable you can change, but not someone who is intractable. Intransigence. Quite similar. Refusal of any compromise. Stubbornness. Why do you have to be so intransigent? Everyone else is compromised. Why are you stuck in your ways? Why are you so stubborn? Obdurate. Were you born this intransigent? Inundate. To overwhelm, flood, submerge like a deluge. They were inundated with letters after she spoke out on television. Overwhelmed, deluged, flooded, engulfed, inundated. Inured. Accustomed, hardened. She was inured to the complaints. It was like water off a duck's back. She ignored them. She was so accustomed to them. Inured. Invective. Nice word. Abuse. He let out a stream of invective in a withering harangue, but it didn't affect her. She used such distressing hyperbole. It was just torrid invective. Abuse. Irascible. Irritable, easily angered. The cat was particularly irascible today. Irritable, easily annoyed. Irascible, a bit like a rascal. Irresolute. Uncertain how to act, weak. Not full of resolve, the opposite. Irresolute, uncertain, indecisive, weak. Irresolute. Itinerary. The plan of a trip. Can you tell me my itinerary for this journey? I don't know where we're going to start. Or the travel agent printed off our itinerary, the plan of the trip. Laconic. Brief and to the point. He didn't embellish his words. He was truly laconic. Brief, to the point, concise. Laconic. Lassitude. Languor, weariness. Often fatigue, a bit like that word enervate. Full of tiredness, weariness, ennui, lassitude. Great word. Latent. Potential but undeveloped. Dormant, hidden. He had a latent talent for the sport, but it hadn't yet been discovered. Latent. Laud. To praise. He was lauded for his achievements, praised by everyone. Laud. Lethargic. Drowsy, dull, full of lassitude. Lethargic, no energy, demonstrating lethargy. Drowsy, dull, lacking energy. Lethargy. Levee. An earthen or stone embankment to prevent flooding. So there's different words here that sound the same. Levee with a double E there is something that you have to prevent flooding in an area next to a river. Whereas to levy with a Y, L-E-V-Y, is to charge someone a tax or a fee. To levy a sanction, for example. A levee with a double E is this kind of dam-like structure to prevent flooding around a river. Levee, pronounced the same way. Levity. A lack of seriousness or steadiness, frivolity. Such levity in the face of tragic circumstances. Lightness, frivolity, triviality, levity. Log. To record a voyage or flight, a record of day-to-day activities. Captain's log, like in Star Trek, a record. To log the day's events. Obviously also like a log from a tree. Loquacious. Talkative, like the word garrulous. Loquacious, talkative. Lucid. Easily understood, clear, intelligible. I try to make my videos lucid, easily understood. Luminous. Shining, issuing light. Light is often measured in lumens. So if something is luminous, it's shining, issuing light. Magnanimity, great word, being magnanimous. Generous. Being magnanimous in victory means you're generous to the people that you have defeated. You don't punish them too harshly. Magnanimous or magnanimity. Quite hard to pronounce actually. A malingerer. One who feigns illness to escape duty. If you pretend to be sick for 3 months in the year, you are truly a malingerer. You keep feigning illness. Malleable. Capable of being shaped by pounding, impressionable. So iron is malleable if you heat it up to a high temperature. But a human can be malleable if you can easily shape or mold their actions. They are impressionable, malleable. A maverick. A rebel, a nonconformist. Someone who goes their own way, doesn't follow the crowd. They are a maverick. Mendacious. Lying, habitually dishonest. Full of mendacity. Disingenuousness. Lying, basically. Mendacious. Metamorphosis. A change of form. What a stunning metamorphosis that man's undergone. He used to be a complete malingerer, now he's an honest worker. What a metamorphosis. What a change in form. Meticulous. Excessively careful, painstaking, scrupulous. She was meticulous with her resume. There was not a single grammatical or spelling error in the whole thing. Meticulous. A misanthrope. It's one who hates all humans, all mankind. She wrote something so misanthropic in her diary that she hated everyone she'd ever met. Misanthropic. One who hates all humans, all mankind. Mitigate. Lessen in intensity to moderate to appease. Climate mitigation means trying to lessen the damage of climate change, not stop it. Mitigate the situation, moderate it, make it less bad. Mitigate. Mollify. To soothe. She tried to mollify the baby's anger by giving it a lolly. To mollify, to soothe. Morose. Ill-humoured, sullen, melancholy. Feeling down, a bit grumpy, morose. Morose, even the word sounds morose. Mundane. Worldly as opposed to spiritual, everyday. Tell me about your mundane activities, your day-to-day activities. Nothing special, I just want to hear the mundane details. Nothing deep or abstract or spiritual, just something down to earth and mundane. To negate. To cancel out, nullify, deny. Two negatives negate each other and become a positive. They cancel out. Don't negate her efforts. They were worth something. Don't nullify or deny them. Neophyte. A recent convert, a beginner. Neo means new. You are a neophyte if you're a recent convert, a beginner at something. Obdurate. I used this word earlier. Stubborn. Obdurate, intractable, stubborn. Obsequious. We also saw this earlier. We saw it with the word fawning. Slavishly attentive, servile, sycophantic, flattering, fawning. Obsequious. Sucking up to those in charge, basically. Obsequious. Obviate. To make unnecessary, get rid of. Similar to negate. The advances in mobile phone technology have obviated most basic calculators. People just use their phones. Obviate. And finally, for this video, we have the word occlude. Interesting word. To shut or close. The clouds occluded the sun, closed up from view. Or you might say thick makeup can occlude any pores on your skin. Cover them up, shut them up. And there we have the last of the 111 words for this video. And we are 2/3 through this series. Please do let me know if you're finding it helpful in any way. And thank you for watching all the way to the end. See you in the next video.